On First Alert Weather Extra, Chief Meteorologist Wes Wyatt breaking down the impacts for this First Alert weather day tomorrow. What kind of rainfall totals we're going to see out of this system, and will there be a severe thunderstorm and tornado risk? When and where could that happen? We'll have all that for you coming up.
Live on your side, First Alert Weather Extra starts right now.
And right now, let's get into it. We'll start with this flood watch across the entire area. This goes into effect tomorrow morning at 6 o'clock through noon on Saturday, issued by the National Weather Service. Every county in our coverage area, including North Alabama, is included in that flood watch. A few counties there you go south of our market. But as we look back to the west, the watches continue back into Mississippi. Here's the next system, and there was a low-end severe risk back to the west and northwest. Not a lot happening in here, but you can already see that big surge of moisture with those clouds moving in from the southwest. So here it comes. Right now, no rain knocking on the doorstep, knocking on the front door, but later on tonight we'll be talking about some heavier rain moving in, maybe as early as 3-4 o'clock in the morning for areas to the north and west. So places like Hackleburg, Hamilton, I would say Fayette, Walker, Winston, Marion counties, Lamar counties, those areas, be ready for some wet weather impacts early in the day. And could see it once this is over with, over 4 to 5 inches of rain in some spots. It's been a while since we've seen rain totals like that. Isolated tornado risk is there. Got to watch out for that starting in the morning for those areas north and west. The arrival times for this first wave of heavier rain tomorrow, I went 4 to 6 a.m. Places like northern Tuscaloosa County, Walker County, even parts of Coleman County by 7 to 10 a.m. pushing in towards northern Hale, Bibb, northern Shelby, southern Jefferson, St. Clair, Etowah counties. Notice how it slows down. It's mostly into the afternoon before we see even areas further south and east. So this system, it just moves in, it slows and kind of stalls, and then it starts to move north again tomorrow night. So it kind of wavers in here. Takes it a while to get through. It'll probably be Saturday afternoon before this just completely sweeps out of the state, and then we have some colder air moving in. Let's get right to where we see the possibility of an isolated low-end tornado risk. This is just one of those deals where it's not totally zero. This is not an outbreak major tornado kind of deal, which, you know, any tornado, it's serious. You know, you don't want those kind of winds, but if something developed, it would be a brief development and maybe a brief warning if we saw something out of a setup like this. But tomorrow morning around 5 to 6 o'clock, you can see I have this area highlighted. What you're looking at is that combination of wind energy and instability where that could set up. It's still very low in the morning, but then as we take this into late tomorrow night, notice that might try to ramp up for areas to the south here where the atmosphere is not quite as worked over. It's still warmer, more humid, the air's more juicy, not as much rain. That's the thing you got to watch out for. Rain is a good thing on a day like tomorrow as far as holding down that severe threat. If we do see that, hold those temperatures and surface space instability to the south, that would help limit that risk. So we'll be watching for just a marginal kind of low-end threat there. Just one of those deals you'll want to make sure you have ways to get those alerts in case we do see a warning pop up. Again, north and west you can see in the morning, and then we'll see that risk very marginal by tomorrow afternoon and then early Saturday as that system moves further south. So we're on your side right now preparing you for this First Alert Weather Day tomorrow. Meteorologist Megan Thomas joins us now with just some updates and some reminders on how you can stay safe in the event of flooding.
Heading into Friday and Saturday, you've heard it. We've called for First Alert Weather Days, and it is due to the possibility of flooding across the deep south from Louisiana, Mississippi, southern Tennessee, and yes, here in central and north Alabama. So we wanted to start off with, do you know the difference between a flash flood watch and a flash flood warning? When I say there is a flash flood watch that has been issued, that means to you that flooding is possible and is your time to take that first alert and get prepared. When we issue a flash flood warning, or a flash flood warning is issued by the National Weather Service, that is your time to take action, meaning it is happening now. It is imminent. It is ongoing. So when you hear the word watch, I want you to think it's possible. When you hear the word warning, I want you to think it's happening now. So flooding is always a concern, especially when you get these storms that set up and they run right over top of each other. When you think of trains on a track going over the same spot for hours on end, leading to several inches of rain in a short amount of time. Well, heavy rainfall can obviously lead to flooding. It can lead to the ponding on the roads, and it can lead to creeks, rivers, streams to rise. It only takes 6 inches of water for a person to be swept away. 12 inches, so a foot of water for a car or an SUV. In a larger vehicle, it takes about 18 inches. And I know you've heard this year after year, but we always say it: turn around and don't drown. Don't try to drive through flooded roadways. It's just not worth it. So in order to prepare, and your first alert here tonight, know your risk. Are you in the floodplain? You can look that up on the internet, and also make sure to check your insurance for flooding coverage if you are in that floodplain. And of course, the best one that I can think of that everyone can do is clear out the storm drain of any loose debris. So many leaves still on the ground now that this is your time to move them out of the way so the water can flow freely into the drain. Also, in case of emergency, always have your electronic devices charged. Now is your time to download the First Alert Weather app. Take out your phone, open up the camera app, aim it at the screen. This QR code will take you directly to download the WBRC First Alert Weather app. And if you're having trouble doing that, just know you can type in WBRC First Alert Weather in any app store, and you can download it absolutely for free. We want you to stay prepared, so always keep it right here, and we'll have much more throughout the evening on Weather Extra.
Explore the wonders of weather with Weather in the Classroom. Scan the QR code now to help your kids soar to new heights with Soar with 6.
Well, that same storm system heading our way is bringing damaging storms to the plains. Actually, areas earlier this morning had some big impacts. Check out the scene from Oklahoma. This was in the Purcell area. The storm damaged homes, knocked down trees, and scattered tree limbs. The National Weather Service, they have not confirmed yet if this was damage caused by a tornado. They'll go out and survey that damage area and make an assessment, but at least 5 tornado warnings had been issued in the southern and central parts of the state. It's calmed down for now, but of course we'll be watching that same system as it moves closer to our area. And across the nation, disasters causing about $115 billion in damage last year. That's according to a report from the group Climate Central. At least 21 severe thunderstorms caused at least $1 billion in damage each, with wildfires. And in Southern California, that's up more than half of the year's total there of damage. The report said 2025 was the least costly year for disasters since 2019. And with temperatures getting ready to fall again as we head into the weekend, doctors are sharing safety tips on how to prevent carbon monoxide poisoning in your home. Fox News' Daria Albinger takes a look at that story.
With cold winter temperatures keeping various home heating units working up a sweat, medical experts are warning about a seasonal uptick in carbon monoxide poisonings.
Carbon monoxide is produced when there's any fuel source that is burned, such as wood, kerosene, oil, gasoline, things like that. And it's a byproduct of that burning, and as a result it increases or accumulates. Carbon monoxide is dangerous to humans because it takes the place of oxygen in our body.
And with furnaces, fireplaces, stoves, and more running with the windows closed, doctors say this silent killer can quickly fill up a room.
Carbon monoxide is so dangerous to humans because we have no way of detecting it outside of a carbon monoxide detector, which means we can't see it, we can't taste it, and we can't smell it. And if that carbon monoxide builds up high enough in our bodies, it can be fatal.
According to Dr. Samuel Hawkins, symptoms of carbon monoxide poisoning can include:
you might begin to feel nauseous or lightheaded, but it can also cause more serious symptoms, such as shortness of breath, and also confusion, and even fainting, or what we call syncopizing.
Experts say proper maintenance of household appliances is key, and so is making sure you have enough carbon monoxide detectors around your home.
it is very important to have these somewhere near where we sleep, so we will be able to be notified if there is an increase in carbon monoxide levels.
Daria Albinger, Fox News.
Well, ahead, we're on your side with the latest on tomorrow's First Alert Weather Day, and we're sharing some of your weather photos across social media. You'll be sharing those with us and on the First Alert Weather app. Stay with us. We will be back with more First Alert Weather Extra. Well, at this time tonight, we're certainly in much better shape with respect to the visibility out there. A little bit of haze, but you can see that view from Gardendale. We can actually see the road tonight. It was quite foggy. Temperatures are in the 60s, but all across the state, we're still seeing some 70s here in parts of West Alabama. Notice we have a mostly cloudy sky, but look at what's popped up across in parts of Mississippi back in here. We're starting to see a few showers that are showing up. So this is that axis of rain, that south flow, that moisture that's just going to gradually work its way overnight towards our West Alabama counties, and by tomorrow morning there could be some storms with this as it rolls in. Now I've been going between two different models that we have here at WBRC, the Barron model and also the IBM model. This is a look at the IBM model. I showed the Barron model last time, but they're very similar in the thought process on how this plays out tomorrow. And just to show you tonight, we're still fine. If you're about to head out, get a walk in tonight. I'm not concerned about any heavy rain before midnight, and most of the night we should be in okay shape, but around 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, if you live north and west, you'll want to first thing in the morning check on the weather, because there will be some heavy rain starting to move in. Notice by 5, 6 in the morning. across West Alabama and northwest areas. This even shows Pickens County. We might start to see some of that heavier rain, but there'll be more of this that fills in and starts to move back to the north and east direction. So southwest and northeast, you see that heavier rain. It even shows around 10:30 in the morning, reaching places like Gaston. So we see all this kind of cover up the northern part of the coverage area, but it takes its time developing further south. So it's probably going to be early afternoon before some of this crosses over south of I-20, at least as far as the heavier rain. But we're talking some storms, locally heavy rain. This will cause some slowdowns, and you'll want to factor in some extra drive time. We have a flood watch up through tomorrow. Flooding is the greatest concern, but any location along and ahead of this line, there will be an isolated tornado threat. And that starts early morning as this first moves into areas to the northwest. It's not a major risk, but it's one where we need to be weather alert throughout the day and tomorrow evening. Certainly have a plan. And this is where it kind of gets interesting late tomorrow night as low pressure passes north of Alabama. It helps to draw all this north briefly. This would happen overnight and into early Saturday morning. We might start to see those upper 60s, low 70s trying to surge north again. Notice how model data shows 58 at Coleman, 67 at Clanton. So there'll be a front in here that may try to waver north, and south of that is where we still need to watch for maybe a stronger thunderstorm that may try to briefly rotate. It's a low end window. Once we get that front through here early Saturday morning, it all moves out into the afternoon, and then we take it into Sunday with some colder air moving in, and models do show us clearing out on Sunday, but a cold day will start out in the 30s, windy, gust up to around 25-30 miles per hour, and temperatures topping out in the 40s. Still indications that we could see over 5 inches of rain in some areas. You can see where that swath sets up. Models have trended a bit further south today. And look, the further south, the heavier rain sets up. We don't want all the rain at one time, but that helps to limit that unstable air and lower the severe risk. So it's not necessarily a bad thing with respect to the tornado threat, but we don't need the flash flooding, right? So we need to be cautious and plan for that heavier rainfall in the early Saturday morning. Sunday looks dry again. Monday we start out in the 20s, freezing temperatures early in the day. Tuesday, dry, highs in the 50s. Wednesday, another cold front moves in, and it may squeeze out a shower, but it looks like it's not as much rain with that system. Highs in the 50s, but it will drop the temperatures and keep us dry through a week from today and into the following Friday. And next weekend, you can see a week from Saturday, maybe a couple of showers. So that's a system that we'll be talking about on down the road. It doesn't look as intense as the system that we're tracking at the moment. But earlier today, what a day to be in Clanton for the Integrated Warning Team Workshop and meeting, the annual meeting that the National Weather Service here in Birmingham holds. And I was there along with fellow broadcasters all around the Birmingham area, EMA, all the agencies that help to plan and provide readiness during emergency weather situations. We were all together in one room today. We meet annually to discuss how we can better provide information. And I tell you what, in this world today with all the, there's a lot of information out there on digital, a lot of noise sometimes that we have to address with respect to some of these rumors when it comes to snow and things like that, a lot of long-range models, and we just try to all provide real and reliable information, and certainly a dependable group there, and great to have those meetings to help provide that information for you. So we'll be continuing to track that system for tomorrow coming up, but right now it's been 1 year since those devastating Eaton fires in California, and survivors are saying that recovery isn't going the way they hoped. Jasmine Ville has the story.
This is still my home. This is still my address. This is what I worked so hard.
With tears streaming down her face, Jill Jensen clutches a small tile plaque, numbers that once marked her address on Las Flores Drive in Altadena.
So many people suffer. We do not have a house. We do not have our neighborhood. We do not have our community anymore.
It's all that remains of her house that burned to the ground in the Eaton fire.
And my husband said, Jill, get up. We have to go. The house in the back is engulfed in flames.
A home that was full of music and love, but Jill was ultimately forced to sell the lot in order to afford starting over. 1 year later, the trauma hasn't faded.
The nightmares persistent.
Jill joined other fire survivors and elected leaders in Altadena Wednesday as they talked about the recovery efforts and the need for more accountability.
Whether a family is able to get back home or is displaced permanently comes down to one thing: money.
Joy Chen with the Eaton Fire Survivors Network says with 7 in 10 Eaton and Palisades families still displaced 1 year later, they are working hard to move the money to the survivors who deserve it.
Just the first year since the fire, our community unlocked over $100 million in delayed insurance payments. And more is coming. There are 3 sources that each owes survivors tens of billions of dollars: Edison, insurance companies, and the federal government.
If they can spend money on bombs and all of this horrible stuff that they are doing to other countries, other peoples that are suffering worse than this, why can't they help these people here?
LA County Supervisor Catherine Barger says this survivor-led coalition has helped to shed light on what went wrong before, during, and after the Eaton fire.
I welcome investigations across the board. I have promised these survivors that we're going to get answers, and we will get answers.
As the attention remains on Southern California Edison, the utility said since opening a compensation program tied to the Eaton fire, more than 1,800 customers have applied. The company has made 82 settlement offers totaling more than $34 million, and 31 claims have been paid so far.
Let's be clear. Edison must pay everything that they are liable for.
Jill knows she's among the fortunate ones to have a roof over her head, while for so many the rebuilding hasn't even begun.
What about the people that don't have any insurance or underinsured? I'm a lucky one, but I still hurt.
Well, astronauts will be doing a pair of spacewalks later this month outside the International Space Station. It's in preparation for the installation of a rollout solar array. As Colonel Scott tells us, the solar array is just one of a number of tasks astronauts want to get done.
The first spacewalks of the new year are taking place this month. The walks are also called extravehicular activity, or EVA, where astronauts perform tasks outside the International Space Station.
Station's design requires humans living on board to maintain, operate, and upgrade it. So these commercial crew missions that come up, as we talked about with that, are very important to the mission. 2
astronauts will work on the 2A power channel, prepping the ISS for rollout solar arrays, which hold the solar panels in place. Once installed, the arrays will boost power to the ISS.
We continue to celebrate, as we go here, the International Space Station's 25 years of continuous human presence. We're advancing scientific knowledge and demonstrating new technologies that enable us to prepare for human exploration of the moon as we prepare for Mars.
The astronauts will also swab outside the ISS to test for microbes at 5 different locations near the airlock door. On the second spacewalk, astronauts will be replacing a camera, installing new navigational aids, relocating jumpers, and changing out a flexible hose that is part of the facility's thermal system.
We train in the neutral buoyancy facility where there is this big giant pool that has the mock-up of the space station. The crew members will suit up, get into the pool, and practice the activities that we're going to do.
Both spacewalks are expected to last about 6 hours. In New York, Gernal Scott, Fox News.
Now it's time to share some of your weather photos. First up is Kevin Ragsdale with this lovely view from Coleman. Kevin's always sharing some nice views from Jones Chapel. I believe this was just east of Coleman, but a little bit of sun actually made it through the fog earlier today and really set off some of those early morning colors. And this was a foggy image from Kathy Riley on Logan Martin Lake. It's been making an impact over the past couple days. And we're headed to the beach where Tommy James got a glimpse of a double rainbow down in Sandestin. Appreciate Tommy sharing that view, and Michelle Micklick sharing this view from a stunning cloudy sky there with sunset. Looks like a mackerel sky there. Some very high cirrus clouds, ice clouds as we call it, and what a view. I haven't seen a scene like that in a little while. And how about a lovely view from Moss Rock Preserve, and I want to thank Ty Evans for sharing this view. Even so looks like a few leaves still on the trees, and send those in on the weather app. You capture more of those photos, and of course with all the rain we have moving in tomorrow, you want to share weather reports and share storm reports, you can always reach us on social media as well. But the First Alert weather app, there's actually an updated version of that, so make sure you have the latest. Check that. A good time, regardless of how the next 2 days play out. It's always good to be weather alert. Make sure you check to make sure your weather radio is in alert mode. A lot of rain watching next couple days. First Alert weather days. We'll have the new data and updates on timing tonight. We'll see you at 9.